Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Laura Canfield Show, the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And today we're at a special time, yes, because my good friend Maya Boston is here from Australia. So we had to do it in a more reasonable time so that she could be awake. So I'm so glad that Maya is here back with us, and we're going to be talking about accelerated awakening. We're going to be doing a guided meditation or process as well. We're going to be taking live caller questions. And if you don't know Maya, she has been on our show many times. We love her, absolutely. I love her energy. I love her processes, her light language, her gong sounds. You know, they're beautiful, so transformational. They take you away. I just love them. So Maya is an international light language channel and activator. She's a gong practitioner and a speaker and teacher who's been in practice for over 13 years. And she facilitates workshops all around the world. And her work is focused on opening the heart and mind of humanity through sound by using frequencies to change each listener's brainwave state, which touches the deepest parts of each individual's being and assists with overcoming long-held blocks, simultaneously creating a space into which the listener can expand into. So I have experienced Maya's gong sound bath sessions, and it's like, I think that it's the free gift on the gift page, and it is so beautiful. It's something that you want to use, listen to, and it will transport you away. And so as when Maya does her gong sound bath session, she channels light language and translates it into sound, harmonizing her gongs to create a multidimensional soundscape. And these sounds, together with the light codes, help to restructure our energy patterns so that we remember the multidimensional nature of our being. And we are multidimensional beings, right? So Maya, welcome back to the show. So glad you're here.
Thank you, Alara. I'm so excited to be back and so honored that you keep inviting me back to your show. I just love our time together. And I know we always have so much fun.
Exactly. And, we always have so much fun talking about so many different things, so like, I know today we're talking about accelerated awakening, the timeline that we're in right now, the solstice coming up for us in the Northern Hemisphere. I mean, it's for you guys too, but it's, slightly different energy. But with the solstice coming up, and just with, it feels to me like a really time of change, a major change. And it's also about like, all that stuff that you've been hiding, all that stuff you're like, oh, I'm going to do it later. I'll take care of it later. I don't really want to be on that path because I'm scared. Well, I think right now what's happening is that the energies of this time are pushing you to look at it, or, in my husband's case, bring you down to your knees so that you're going to have to choose to get on your path. He doesn't know this yet because he's still not conscious of anything yet. So he's not talking, but yeah, I know he's being worked on, multidimensionally at the higher levels and so on. But this is what we are being asked to do now, right? Is to show up.
Oh, absolutely, Alara. The energies are really, well, I've had so many messages from people, from clients who are asking me, what is going on?
Yeah.
They're really going, it's really, somebody said it to me yesterday. It's like a lot of stuff's been brought up, but they don't feel that the stuff that's been brought up has anything to do with the solstice energy, and it's not the right energy to go into the solstice with. And that is so not true. I mean, we are all individuals. We are all unique. We are all on our own soul journey, which is very different to everybody else's soul journey. So there's no need to compare ourselves with others or to judge ourselves. And what is being brought up now for everyone is a massive clearing of whatever is, right for you at this time, to clear a lot of trauma, a lot of, stuff from the past. And it's clearing to create space for the new energy that's coming in. I mean, you can't just keep packing stuff in. Sometimes you got to, you got to clear your wardrobe to put new stuff in, right?
Yeah.
So this is what's happening. There's a massive clearing going on from that energy portal of the 12/12 date right through to the solstice. which is 12/21. So it's this 10-day period of just clear, and then something, else is happening. And, just mentioning the solstice, OMG to be, dramatic, but the solstice energy, it is massive. It is
Mhm.
massive, but it's massive also because I don't know how many of your listeners know, but here in Australia, it is massive because, first of all, we have a very powerful node of the planet that that most people would know as Uluru,
Mhm.
the rock in the center.
Yep.
And of course, Uluru holds a time capsule placed there by our spiritual parents, the Palladians. There are 11 other time capsules on the planet. Some of them are from the point of the solstice in 2012. They had begun to open. So these time capsules are releasing energy and light codes onto the earth grid. So some of the 12 have been opened and some of them are not open yet. And in 2015, the node that is at Uluru was sung to in light language, but and if I can give you a metaphor, the key was placed in the lock.
Mhm.
But the key was not turned because it was not the sole contract of the light language toners to turn that key.
Right.
That key has been sitting in the lock unturned until now.
Hmm.
So what is happening on the solstice date, which I think happens 12 hours before everywhere else on the
Yeah,
planet,
exactly. Yep.
because we're in Australia, is that the Indigenous elders of this land, that is Australia, known as Australia now, they are gathering and they are doing ceremony on the solstice, which begins quite early. So this time next week,
Yep.
I'll be doing a free online event for the solstice.
Oh, cool.
They are gathering because they have asked us not to come to Uluru, because otherwise they'd have hundreds of thousands of people descending upon this place, sacred
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
They've asked us not to interfere and not to come to Uluru. They've simply asked us for our support. So they are, because it is their soul contract, they are opening that time capsule and releasing the light codes and energies onto the earth grid. So that's one more power node on the planet that is going to be opened up and released. And yes, that is ushering in change, big change. And I know you mentioned earlier, I can hardly wait for 2020 to be over.
Yep.
And I've heard that from so many people. It's like, why? I'm thinking, wonder why that is. 2020 has been such a blessing.
In some ways, absolutely, it definitely has been. But I have to tell you, for me, for the past couple of months, it has not been the greatest. So I'm like ready to let it go. It's like I'm, let's bring on the new energies and let's go. I just want my husband
Oh,
healthy and
I I
so
hear you.
I
I
think that
hear
will
you,
make a huge
Alara.
shift. Yeah. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
I
this year has been amazing in a lot of ways. Absolutely. It's like we've all had the chance to work on ourselves more and more, right? We've also had the chance to create new friendships online, right? And some people have, for the first time, learned how to do stuff online. So it's like, learning new skills and being, a different way, right? And recognizing that this is a gift, right? But mostly it's about, doing our work, being able to take that time to go within, learn stuff. It's been great in that way. But if you're willing to like do the work or recognize like, okay, something's happening, let me start doing stuff to start taking care of myself, it's been great. If you've been the one like my husband who's like, I know something big is happening, but I don't know what. So I'm gonna, keep pushing myself in the wrong direction. But I know something big is happening. I was like, yeah, it did. Right. So it's like the universe is also trying to get your attention to say, wake up. It's time for you to be you. Right.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why I call it accelerated awakening, because
Yeah.
we're really being pushed now more than ever. So those of us who have been doing our work in this last few years or decades or however long it's been going on for you,
Yeah.
we may have had some really big challenges. I've had 4 people pass close to me, people pass, friends that have passed this year, and it's like, okay, so this is big year of change. I've also gone through my own personal transformation in the middle of the year as well, around my birthday. It was huge. Can I say that it was pretty? No, it was not. But looking back on it, that it's all, I don't know, for those ladies who know what it's like to give birth, you give birth and it's quite painful while you're in the process. But afterwards, once you see that tiny little face looking back at you, all that pain, all the hardship of the last 9 months or so has just been forgotten in that moment. And from that moment forth, your focus is just on that little bundle in your arms. And so it's also the same with us. However painful the challenge and the transformation is for you, I tend to think of it, the more challenging it is, the more painful it is, the greater the transformation. So
Absolutely, I totally agree. So I'm like, all right, I'll take the transformation, but let's just, calm it down a little bit. But yes, I'll take the transformation. Thank you. Right. So saying thank you, even amidst challenges, right, is going to help you to go through the transformation with a little bit more ease, right? A little bit more ease. It may not feel like it in the moment.
well, that ease and grace only happens when you let go of the resistance to change. So it's really going inward and looking at what is the resistance, because the greater the resistance you have within, the greater your pain within.
Yeah.
So it's about letting go of the resistance to change, which I've also talked about to my just last night to my husband about doing things differently and letting go of the old ways.
Yeah. Yeah, and you have to.
But anyway,
that's it. But we cannot hold on to the old ways anymore. They are not going to work moving forward.
No,
right?
No, and absolutely not. And that was a big thing that came up for me through my transformation was it's one thing to go through a transformation and maybe even get support while you're going through the transformation. But what happens after the transformation? How, my question to myself was, how can I support my clients more in that period after the transformation? Or if they, for example, if they've done a one-on-one session with me, how can I further support them after the session? Because otherwise what I'm seeing is, and this word, sovereignty is really big with me at the moment. Otherwise, I'm not empowering them to stand in their sovereignty. They have to keep coming back to me for more and more and more. Whereas if I'm supporting them even after the 1 hour session in some way, of their choosing, of course, then there's support for their journey until they can actually stand in their own sovereignty. And when I'm talking about sovereignty, I'm talking about the ability to be independent of the reaction of what is going on around you. So not to go into reaction of what is going on around you. So to go into that state of detachment, which does not mean that we don't see or feel what is going on. We're simply not reacting to it. And literally, in order to do that, we have to let go of everything that we know in the third dimensional consciousness. And notice I'm using the word consciousness, not reality, because our consciousness is what is creating the reality. So if we change the way we think about things and start doing them differently, we start to let go of all those things that are anchoring us in the third dimensional consciousness and therefore reality. And we start moving into fifth dimensional consciousness, which will create that reality for us.
Mm,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
so the major question is to sort of begin that process of accelerated awakening consciously, is what else is holding me in this third dimensional consciousness? What is anchoring me here still? You know, what else, you know, each morning, if you can wake up and ask yourself, what else can I let go of today that is anchoring me in the third dimensional consciousness?
Great
Okay?
question. Yeah, that's a great question.
It's a big question. What else can I let go of? Because I can tell you nothing, absolutely nothing that anchors you now in the third dimensional consciousness reality will you be able to take with you into the fifth dimensional consciousness and reality that you create from that point.
Whew, wow.
Nothing.
Yeah.
That means what we're really going through a lot at the moment is this huge identity cleanse. You know, who are we? Those people that lost their jobs this year because of the world situation, they've lost their identity. They're no longer the managers, technicians, secretaries, you know, whatever the job title was. They've lost an identity, and it's the identity cleanse. But in losing loved ones, we're also cleansing our identity, because we're no longer, you know, friends, sisters, brothers, cousins, you know, all those titles that we have about ourselves are all being released because it's an old way of thinking of ourselves.
So it's about letting go of all of the attachments the best we can. And of course, that is a process. You're not going to do it like that, you know? So it's a process of letting go of the attachments. And part of letting go of the attachments is about not reacting, but it's also about being aware of, you know, being also aware of what are you thinking, what are you feeling, what's coming up in your mind, in your awareness, right? And taking a look at that. And, you know, if you get triggered by something, instead of judging it and saying, oh no, not again, it's like, okay, so what is this showing me, and how can I let this go now, or where am I attached to it, right? So it's like, so the every morning question is great, but it's also about, you know, all the time when you get triggered by something or something comes into your awareness, looking at that and say, how am I attached to this, or am I not attached to this? Like what, like where am I at? And it's kind of like a barometer, right? So it's like, am I like 70% attached to this, 30% attached to this? You know, because we've been doing this for so long, so it's normal for us to have these attachments, but we can start to let them go slowly but surely, right?
Absolutely. A great point there, Alara. And that is about staying in the now moment.
Yeah.
You know, so being aware in the now moment, which is, you know, which is easier said than done, especially for people who still have jobs, or who are, you know, looking after young children, or who are looking after others. It's quite difficult. But again, you know, that introspective time that you spend with yourself each and every day, even if it's just for 10-15 minutes, is the time where you are in the now moment, and you're checking in with yourself, and you're asking yourself these hard questions. And it's really time to be be honest, be, you know, that complete honesty with yourself. Nobody else needs to know about any of this. It's your inner process, but it's time to really get very honest with yourself and allow yourself to feel what is going on, and to be in that now moment, to honor that pain, whether it's physical pain, whether it's emotional pain, to honor that pain. Thank you. You know, it's been such a great lesson for me. I really honor this pain in my body, and now I'm choosing to let it go. So whether that involves a process of forgiveness, which, you know, usually it does, honoring honoring the other for playing their part so
Mhm.
that you can play your part, and forgiving the other and yourself for playing the roles that you played, but in order to learn, because there was a soul agreement between the two of you to go through this process so that both of you can take something away from it. And going back to your words just then, it's a process. It's not going to happen in 5 minutes. And this is why the 2020 is the beginning of this process, and it's not going to stop. Not
Yeah.
until every single one of us is in that fifth dimensional consciousness. So those of us who have started this year, we're usually the way showers, the light bearers,
Mhm.
and we're going through it first so that we can show the others how to do it. There's going to be many, many more awakening next year and beginning their processes. This year, there are many that are awake, that have awakened for the first time as well, and who are asking the questions and who are beginning their process. So it's ongoing. I mean, if I know anything about the human collective, is that we don't like change, and we especially don't like quick change.
Mhm. Yeah, it's
And this is
always
why,
gradual.
that's why it's a process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So you were talking at the beginning. I just want to bring us back to that for a moment. You were talking about the Pleiadians and Uluru and opening up that lock, right? Turning the key, right? For those new energies to be awakened on the planet. So obviously, those energies are not going to just stay in Uluru. They're going to go, throughout the whole planet. But what else are the Pleiadians suggesting for us at this time? Like when these energies are flooding the planet, flooding humanity, how can we take advantage of those?
Well, again, it's taking time for yourself. And I know that it is so hard at this time of year because we're so busy with the holiday celebrations and family. And, the process has already begun for me with planning what's going on next week, how to fit it all in. You know,
Hmm.
I would actually prefer some quiet time. But
Yeah.
uh, this is, for me anyway, it feels like I'm doing this on the run. Um, but yeah, the introspective time, to just spend some time with yourself. And, if you're one of the ones that are being awakened in the, like 3 a.m., 2 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning, then that is your time. That is the magic time that, the universe is kind of tapping on the shoulder going, "Hmm, can you wake up now? Because we need to speak to you. We're really sorry that we have to
Hmm.
wake up so early, but we need to speak to you. It's urgent."
Yeah. And so right now it is a great time for us to start not start but communicate more with our team and with spirit to assist us in our next steps, right?
Absolutely. And allow that whatever comes through for you is what's right for you. As I said earlier, we're all individuals, we're all unique. We're all on this journey together, but we're all doing it in such a different way, because if we were doing it all in the same way, there would be no point to it.
Hmm.
It's all about your individual journey. So trust the information that comes forward for you, because that is what your higher self is telling you is right for you at this point of your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, it's going to be different for each one of us, right? So each of us is on a different journey. We're not all on the same journey. So don't compare your journey with somebody else's. And we can't even really understand anybody else's journey, can we?
No, and if someone is sharing their journey with you, you just take a deep breath and center in your heart and just listen with your heart, because they're sharing something quite deep with you. I know we're so used to having these very superficial conversations with people, and while we're rushing and on the way to work or on the way home from work or at work, and sipping coffee and doing everything, and we're, oh yeah, thanks, great, bye, and, oh, it's wonderful, all those superficial comments that we get, and yet really listening is about sitting quietly, not trying to think of the next response to the other person, but just giving them the time, the space to just express themselves and what is going on for them. And all the while you're sitting, you're taking deep breaths, you're centered in your heart, you're listening with your heart for what's going on with this person, because they're taking the time to share with you something that is going on with them. The least you can do is take the time to listen to them from your sacred space.
Absolutely. So I'm not sure if I mentioned at the beginning of the call, but if you do have a question for Maya, you can raise your hand or you can type your question in the chat. And so, so Maya, because like sometimes when we get questions from the listeners, watchers, it brings out even more information, more wisdom, more teachings than what I can sometimes ask, right? But for me, like right now, it is about it's like trusting, right? Trusting in the divine plan, trusting in spirit, trusting in my higher self, and trusting that everything that's happening right now is for the highest and best good for everyone. And sometimes, I have moments when that trust falters, like, I'll be honest, I have moments when that's like, what the heck? It's like, kind of, what's going on, universe. So,
absolutely, Alara, absolutely. Yeah,
so
I hear you.
is there something that you can share with us, or whether it's light language or something else, just to clear those feelings of like lack of trust, not having enough trust, or trying to like control? Those are like, it's like trust is on one side of the coin, control is on the other, right?
Absolutely. And we try and walk that fine line, right? And again, that's where the detachment comes in, because when we're in that state of detachment, we can see the bigger picture because we're not getting emotionally involved.
Yeah.
And we're seeing the bigger picture. We can see that there is something else beyond this moment. We've been through these moments so many times in our lives that we ought to have learned by now that it's time to go into that trust mode. And yet, as you said, we falter and we go into the reaction type stuff that we do, and it's really time to let go of that. So that's where our sovereignty and our detachment comes into play, and it's really time to let go of reaction. So would you like to do a process now?
Sure. Yeah, that'd be great.
Wonderful.
I think we could all use a little bit more trust right now.
Trust. So trust comes from that feeling of being connected to everything, okay, to the oneness. So that's where our trust is, because when we understand that we're connected to everything, then we understand that there's a bigger plan, and it is all unfolding for our highest good and in divine timing as well.
Yeah.
So let's just get comfortable in our seats and just closing our eyes, and let's just take some deep breaths right down into the abdomen, just allowing the abdomen to expand with each deep breath, and exhaling through the mouth. Taking deep breaths in through the nose, expanding the abdomen, and then breathing out through the mouth. And just notice your body as you're taking these deep breaths. Even these simple few deep breaths that you've taken, they have an effect on your body. We may have slowed down considerably this year, But on an energetic level, we're feeling that things are really being accelerated and our bodies are responding in accordance to this. So even though physically you may not be busy, energetically you're at full speed and beyond. So just notice how your physical body has been responding to these ever-increasing energies, particularly since we've had the 12/12 portal, since we've had the 2 eclipses recently. They're all little signposts, or maybe not so little, signposts along the way, letting you know that there is something big coming at the solstice time. Regardless of all and any calendars, the solstice was always celebrated because it had nothing to do with man-made calendars and everything to do with the cycles of the earth and its planets, surrounding planets, the solar system, the sun, and the galaxy itself. So even very deeply within our DNA is the understanding that the solstice time, whether you're in the northern hemisphere or whether you're in the southern hemisphere, there is something big going on. The ancient peoples knew this, and that's why they celebrated the solstice, not just on the day, but it was several weeks, a month of celebrations at least, of preparation, of honoring, of ceremony. So just feel into those energies. Trust comes from allowing ourselves to feel. When we allow ourselves to feel, beyond the pain, beyond the confusion, beyond the challenges of everyday life, there is an undercurrent that is telling you in a very quiet way, all is well with my soul. Shein tara kuhin kora e aina o hoin tara haike shuhumaiki uronina makai tushi hahaintu huika unumia au huaina e ho rakite ahau te raha te ranina o keina a shehi turuni aiku e shuki ane e he arauna e tumahaki aone. And just take a deep breath into that. Just allow those light codes and frequencies to permeate your being. Take a deep breath and allow them to enter every cell in your body. I'm being prompted to translate that for you. Dear human, you are loved more than you could ever imagine. You are supported at every step, at every turn. We are here for you. We have always been here for you. And as you prepare to step over the threshold, it may appear to you that the world is falling apart. And in so many ways, it has to fall apart in order for you to create the new structures, the new systems. We are celebrating you. It is a magnificent time for you, even though you may not see it just yet. You may not feel it just yet. We are here to support you. We embrace you in our loving embrace, in the legions of light that surround you. You are held and cherished. We honor you because you are the strongest and the courageous. For you volunteered to be here at this point in time in your history, to anchor the light on the planet, to assist with the birthing of this new energy on the planet. You agreed to all of this. And therefore we support you. We agreed to support you. Just take a deep breath into that. You are loved beyond measure. We honor you, for this is not the easiest task. But you are not first timers at this. You have done this so many times on so many other planets. Take a deep breath into that. You cannot falter, for we are holding you. We are supporting you every step of the way, dear beloveds. We are one. Te a huarani I kushe hoa e kaina o era te I kora aun. Just take a deep breath into that. And as you're breathing in, I want to reintroduce you to an old concept, one that we have forgotten. All around you, you think there is just air, but the air that you breathe is filled with tiny little crystalline particles of life, life-giving particles. In the old Sanskrit language, they are called prana. Today, we know them as adamantine particles. Sometimes you can see them, bright little sparks, sometimes with your eyes open and sometimes with your eyes closed. Bright little sparks before you. They've always been there. We've just forgotten about them. We've forgotten that we can breathe them in. And so on your next in-breath, I want you to feel these little particles that are in the air as they are breathed in through your nose. Feel them down the back of your throat. Feel them filling your lungs and illuminating and re-energizing and rejuvenating all your organs as they make their way down into your lungs. And as you continue to take deep breaths on these beautiful particles, we honor them, we love them, we're grateful for them, but it is another support system that is coming into mainstream consciousness once more. Feel them filling every part of your body as they go into your lungs, and then they go into your bloodstream, and your bloodstream circulates right through your whole body, right into all your extremities, your fingers and your toes, to the top of your head, every organ in your body, every muscle, every sinew, all your veins and arteries, to the very marrow in your bones. And then right out to the biggest organ, that is your skin. Breathe in the life-giving particles and allow them to fill you and radiate out from you. At any time when you are feeling doubtful, any time that you are feeling emotionally low, energetically low, stop and breathe in these particles and know that you are part of a bigger system that is there to support you every step of the way. The challenge that you are going through may feel painful to you, but know that there is always a silver lining. Know that there is a door closing as you're going through the challenge and another door is opening. Know that there is light at the end of the tunnel and that this too will pass. So take one more deep breath of these beautiful particles, allowing them to radiate out from your being, not just from your physical being, but out into your energetic field. We are one. And allow yourself a few moments to open your eyes. And become present once again.
Beautiful. Wow. I'm feeling so good. Really hot, but so good. So much more relaxed and at peace. Yeah, exactly what I needed today. Thank you.
And you're welcome. And you can do this any day, every day, as we're going through these intense energies on the planet. We're not just being challenged with the events that are going on around us physically, but we're also being challenged by the energies. So it's really important to take time for your self-love practice, your self-care practice. It's really important to do this breathing each and every day, even if it's all that you do. You know, sit there for 10, 15 minutes, carve that time out and just sit and take this on board, take those beautiful particles on board and watch yourself change, because after a while your body's going to get used to breathing and taking these particles on board, and you're going to notice a big change in your body. You're going to notice a big change in your energy, and you'll be more in the now moment, more in the flow of things. So this is the great time of change that we have all agreed to be here for. And I'm excited. I'm excited. You know, do I wake up excited every day? No, you know, to be completely honest, I don't. You know, there are some days when I know that the day is going to be really busy. It's going to be very challenging through the ongoing events that are going on around me. But, you know, when I take this time for myself, then my whole perspective changes, my whole day changes. And that's why it's important. That's why I can wake up some mornings and more I'm waking up in the mornings and going, woohoo! Bring it on. I'm ready.
Awesome. Good. So yeah, so everyone, how are you all doing? Write in the chat. Let us know how you are doing as well. Now that I've been able to breathe a little bit and come back to functional, because I was I felt really good. The prana that we're breathing in and letting it radiate in our being, letting it go into each of our cells. It seems like it's something simple, but if you do it consciously with with consciousness and with choice, you're going to notice a difference in your body, right? And you're going to start to then perceive those particles in your day-to-day life more and more the more you do it as well. Some might be saying oh, I've never seen them. Well, if you start doing this, you will start to see them, because they're definitely there. And especially if you're out in nature, like where I am, it's just nature. So there's more of it, right? So of course in the city, maybe a little bit less, but it's still there, right? But if you can get out in nature and just breathe that in, it'll be consciously, right? With intention, it'll make a huge difference. Good. And then it's also about, the trust and knowing that we are supported, like what Maya was saying, is that we are supported by so many beings of light, by our team, by the universe, etc. And sometimes we need that reminder. We need that reminder to let us know that, yes, we're not alone. We are supported. We are all one, and we are loved. And that message, I think, is going to be really important for us to hear over and over again between now and the end of the year and going forward into next year, because we are going to continue this transformation period for ever. There's always going to be some sort of change happening, right?
Absolutely. This process, well, it takes us as long as it takes. It's like asking how long is a piece of string, and there's no, because everybody's journey is different. We can't say how long it'll take us. It may take us a lifetime. It may take us 2 lifetimes. But really, if we just focus on the now moment, I want to give you a metaphor. When you're waiting in a queue, wherever it is, you're waiting in a queue, and if you focus on, oh my gosh, look at the queue, look how long the queue is, it's going to take me forever, I'm going to be here forever, I've only got 5 minutes for lunch, then of course that waiting time seems like forever.
Yeah.
But if you're standing in the queue and you notice yourself starting to think those thoughts, you can quickly switch to thinking about something else. Perhaps you're waiting in the queue for your morning coffee, which, all of us look forward to, those of us who drink coffee in the morning, and so take your thoughts to the morning coffee. Oh, when I take that first sip of coffee, it's going to be fantastic. Maybe it's a treat that you buy yourself, with the coffee. Think of how wonderful it's going to be. If you're, standing in the queue, waiting for something else, think of what that thing, how you're going to feel once that thing, you've reached your place in the queue and you've achieved that thing. So it's not thinking, oh, it's going to take me forever. It's thinking about the end and how wonderful it's going to be at the end of it. So whether that's gratitude for being able to pay your bill, can be simple as that, gratitude for paying your bill. or your morning coffee, or if you're standing in the queue waiting to go through security at the airport, and you're thinking about where you're going to go. Maybe it's going to be to see family this time of year. Maybe it's some of you are going to be lucky enough to be going on holiday. Whatever it is, think of that rather than I'm standing in this queue, and before you know it, it's going to be your turn in the queue.
Absolutely. It's your perception and your attitude, right? And it's going to make a huge difference for sure. Diane says, feeling very relaxed and warm flush throughout my body, yawned throughout the light language. Yep, same here. And, I was wearing socks and I've had to now take my socks off because it's like, yeah, there's so much, flush, that warm flush, heat actually throughout my whole body when we did that process. So yeah. And, and it's beautiful, but it's about also recognizing that your cells right now are alive with that energy. They're consciously recognizing those particles and, basically having a party right now, right? It's like, yay, it's like, consciously choosing to focus on those particles of prana in your body, in your cells. And that's why we have that warm flush as well, right? It's like the cells are talking to each other and saying, thank you.
Absolutely. And the particles are waking the cells up, because the cells have been asleep in the dense energy for so long. Your cells are actually being woken up and being asked to shake off that old energy. So that's why you're yawning and releasing. If you can also find some time to get up and, move your body, that would be really great. And of course, don't forget to drink plenty of water, because the water helps flush all the toxins out as well. So absolutely. I would say I like that analogy. My cells are partying.
Yeah, right? Why not? And so I just wanted to ask you really quickly, when I was looking at your bio and reading your bio, I've obviously, I know you're a light language channel, but I didn't know you were a light language activator.
Yes. Some people have told me that when they spend a period of time in my workshops or online with me, that they're being activated to speak light language themselves, or to write. I've had one lady begin to write light language. So she did something very touching for me. She when she realized that she'd been activated to write her light language, she wrote me a letter of gratitude in light language.
Oh, beautiful. Nice.
It was so lovely,
Yeah.
And let's just remember, there are so many being awakened on the planet to speak or express themselves in light language. So it can be through symbols if you're writing, but it also can be in sacred geometry, and a lot are being activated to paint and draw symbols and geometry as well, because we can be activated through just looking at things. If light language is the language of the heart, so even though all of us are expressing our light language in different ways, it's important to just drop down into your heart center and to just ask for the translation to come through to you and feel what is being said. You were all feeling great. You're all feeling uplifted after the light language. So ask, for the translation in your heart. So even if you're looking at somebody's image, you might not understand like visually what's going on, but if you drop into your heart, you can sorry about that, you can feel into it and understand what is going on. Your being will take on that information. So absolutely, I love light language. I just love the whole process. I love what it does for people. And again, like every human on the planet, I sat there when it first came through for me and went, what is this gibberish? What does it mean? People are going to think I'm crazy.
Right. Yeah.
And I just had to trust. I had to drop into the heart center, and I just had to trust, okay, it's going to be okay. It's stop judging yourself and trying to think what other people would think of you. Just let it go, let all of that go, trust, and just allow the light language to come through for you. And I could just feel this energy sort of just flooding through me, and I just allowed my voice, my mouth to move without me even trying to control it. It just moves of its own and speaks these words, and I know the energy comes through, and I know what it means, and I can feel it in my body, and I know that it's having an effect on others as well, because my body gives me a little signal that is a bit of a confirmation for me as well, that all is well. So
Beautiful.
light
Thank you.
language
Yeah, I love it. I've always loved
might
it.
well be the language of the future.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And so many more people are starting to use light language for healing and for communication and all that wonderful stuff. Um, so it's, it is beautiful. Um, how is how is the tree purple behind you? Is there a purple tree behind you?
Well, I'm not really sure. I mean, you're looking at me
Yeah,
through my aura. I know that many people have said to me that there's a lot of magenta in my aura at the
yeah.
moment. When I'm outside in the sunlight, I'm also getting a lot of blue rays coming through. So I'm coming into the blue ray frequencies as well. So this is how my being has changed as well. It's quite visible on on video, which
Mm-hmm.
is interesting. No, not many people usually mention it, unless they're somebody that I'm sort of doing a one-on-one session with, or sometimes I do sessions with other practitioners when I'm feeling stuck. So
Yeah.
they'll say to me, there's a lot of this color coming through in your
But it's
aura.
true, right above your head, there's a tree behind you, and it is like it's more magenta than purple behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's the
beautiful. Yeah,
magenta in my aura at the moment. Yeah. If
nice.
you actually look, you can see that there's also magenta in the curtain right behind me as well. So it's me. I'm sorry. It's me. It's
It's beautiful, beautiful. I was just, I did a healing call with my group the other day, and I was bringing in the ray and the magenta frequency. That it came to me the night before that, and it's like I don't know anything about this, but we're just going to work with it, and so we worked with the magenta ray and the magenta color and frequency, and it was so powerful. It's like we all just really enjoyed it so much. But it is I guess a higher vibration frequency that's coming onto the planet, or that we're working with now.
Yeah, and some of us are working with the magenta ray, some of us are working with the green ray, some of
Mhm.
us are working with the blue ray. It just depends where we're at and what we've agreed to do on the planet. So if you're working with the green ray, that you're working a lot with the earth. If you're working with the blue ray, then there's a lot of expression from you could either through the voice, like doing videos, etc., or through writing as
Mhm.
well. That's a blue ray messenger. Um, so if you're working with the gold and yellow ray, that's when you're using a tool. So a lot of us are using tools. I use the tool of sound.
Mhm.
So that's how I'm using the yellow ray. So we're not specifically just one ray. Some of us have agreed to be using different rays as the situation requires, or as we're moving up in frequencies.
Right.
So that's just depends where we're at. So
Yeah.
I know if you see those blue ray messenger or golden ray messenger, then you know what that actually means.
Yeah. And I used to always be more of the Blu-ray, for years, but now it's been shifting and changing, and so, and that's the thing with when we're going through transformations of whatever sort, we're going to change the way that we function. We're going to change the way that we are and we be, and we're going to change our tools that we use. for our transformation and for healing or how we work with people. But everything is changing. So be willing to allow the change to go through you, right?
Yeah, I agree, Alara. I think when I think back to my grandfather's time, when people used to get a job and then they worked in the job for 30, 40, 50 years, and then they got a gold watch and a handshake and went off into retirement. I think that time has really passed on our
Yeah.
planet. Today, I think the statistic is on average every 2 to 3 years we change jobs.
Hmm.
Um, I think, and also the practitioners need to be upgrading as well to continually stay in the flow of the energies that are going on right now. So this is where some of the modalities are falling away that used to work for us are no longer going to work for us because they were created in the old energy and only work in the old energy. And we're going to have a lot of new modalities coming on board, which are more in line with the new frequencies on the planet. So very exciting times, very exciting times. Change is the one and only constant on the planet.
Absolutely. Yeah,
That's a universal truth.
it is. So be an allowance of it. I know it's hard, but sometimes it's like bring it, like you said, it's like, all right, bring it. And obviously, people always say, oh, the universe is not going to give you more than you can handle. It's like, you know what? Can we put a pin on that for a second? It's like, yeah, right now I don't want to handle anymore. It's like, I'm good. But the thing is, it's like when we're resisting change, we're stopping our own growth. We're stopping our own evolution and our own transformation.
Absolutely. So that's the resistance I was talking about earlier. The greater the resistance, the more the pain, because the universe, knows, and your higher self know what is for your highest good. And of course, we have free will to change or not to change in that moment. But the changes begin with a light little friendly tap on the shoulder that we usually ignore.
Yeah.
and then it escalates from there on in until you're given an absolute backhander and you fall backwards and you think, what's going on? I can't handle this anymore. It's really about our resistance. And I'll put my hand up for that one as well. I'm just like everybody else. There are areas of my life where I resist big time, and then suddenly, when I'm doing work with another practitioner and it's like I get this aha moment. It's like, oh, of course. Oh, duh. What was I thinking?
Yeah. But
I know that one. I know that one. I just needed to be reminded.
Oh yeah, that again. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like we're going to keep getting those patterns until we're willing to really get the aha and embrace that wisdom, right? Embrace that learning and embrace that change. And then it's like, all right, then it'll fall away because then you're no longer attached to it.
Absolutely. And the key word is change. It's not just to accept the wisdom, but it's to do the action steps to create the change, because a lot of us are storing the wisdom and we know a lot of stuff, but if we're not walking our talk, then it doesn't work for us anymore, particularly in this current energy. And it's going to be like that more and more, because we've started to see that on the planet. All that is not in alignment with the highest good of the collective is being seen for what it is, and it is being transmuted in the light. It's being brought into the light to be transmuted and to be seen. And therefore, we're seeing these old structures disintegrating, and they need to disintegrate in order for us to create something new. But to us, we look at it and we think, oh, there's so much chaos in the world, and it's falling apart. Yes, it is falling apart, but that's not the end of the story.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
falling
never
apart in a
ending
good
story.
way. Yeah, but it's like things are falling apart, but at the same time, they're bringing forward the change that's required right now, right? So
Absolutely. The space needs to be created to bring in the new. So we can't, and we're not throwing, let me just point that out. We're not throwing the baby out with the bathwater here either. The changes that are being created are to disintegrate the old structures that no longer serve us. But if something at the core of that structure is for the highest good, that will remain, and a new structure will be based on that, because the universe just does not throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, like we said, there's a lot of change going on. There's a lot of transformation, lots of transition. People are transitioning, not just physically, but energetically, our systems are changing, right? At all levels, where we are changing. We're upgrading, yes, absolutely. But we can only upgrade to the point that we're willing to allow the lesser parts of ourselves to be loved and let go of, right? Not be attached to them. So how can you help or assist or support people through that change, through that transformation? So basically, the package now.
Yeah, I got that. Oh, that was a lovely segue in. Very well done, Alara.
Right.
So how I can support you is in my package, in my special offer, I've got a 1 hour personal session with me, during which time we will discuss your personal journey and what's going on for you. And you will receive light language transmissions and channeling, and we can work out the next steps for you. And also the next part of the special offer is the personal gong sound bath journey track that I create for you. This is a 15-minute track. It starts with the gongs. I play the gongs first, and then I'm toning and singing light language, and I'm bringing in high frequencies of light language, and through the power of sound. So that's light and sound, which are the two creative forces of the universe. And I'm tuning into your higher self, which is giving me these light codes, and they are for your highest good. So this is your own personal track that will help support you through these times of accelerated awakening.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so these are individual custom tracks just for you, based on whatever is going on in your life right now and what you require. So it's kind of like, and especially like right now, it's like the end of the year. We're going to start the new year, 2021. So it's a great time to really get clear about what you're willing to let go of, but also what you are birthing, right? What you're wanting to create. And this gong track in your personal session can help you to do both, let go of what's no longer working and help you to create or start birthing what is more aligned with you.
Absolutely, Alara, absolutely spot on. I just love the way that you put things into words. You're so eloquent.
I'm so good at what I do. Yeah, I know, right? So the package is available at alara.at/show/Maya9. And I was just going to check and see. So it's 111 is the purchase price, and there is a 2 payment plan option available as well. But this is something that I think everybody should take advantage of, because you get to work personally one-on-one with Maya with light language and tones and frequencies, etc. At the same time, then you get this track to support you as you move forward, to continue to clear and align you to the truth of who you are and where you're going.
Absolutely. These are in actual fact, they're multi-dimensional sounds and frequencies, so they can assist you right now and the next few steps ahead that you need to take. And you receive this track after I've created it as an MP3 file that is emailed to you, so you can download it to your device and you can play it as many times as you need to. I have people playing them in a loop all night. They've got their earphones in, and they're playing them all night while they're asleep. So it really sinks into the subconscious. I've got people that use them during their meditation time. I've got people using them as a pick-me-up when they've had a really bad day at work, or they're really going through a down period in their lives. People listen to them for a while and set them down, and then they come back to them after a while and rediscover all the new things that are on there for them. So really a beautiful gift to give yourself or someone else, if you like, and to take on the light frequencies and codes that will assist you on your journey and this very intense time on the planet, as we are transforming energetically and therefore physically as well. So don't forget, you know, as we're taking on these energies, as we mentioned earlier, this time capsule's going to release its energies, its light frequencies into the earth grids on the planet. Then these energies will be joining with the other time capsules that are already open. So there will be like a synergy of energies on the grids, and they are there for anyone to take up when they're ready. So it's not like it's there and then they dissipate. These energies are staying there. They're upgrading the actual consciousness of our planet, and they're also there to upgrade the collective consciousness of humanity, and then the individual consciousness of each person. So as they're ready, so it's there. It's and these, you know, this is such a great time to do this for yourself, you know, to give yourself this gift to really come into alignment with the current energies on the planet.
Beautiful. And so we can tap into and access those energies as well after the 21st.
Absolutely, they're on the planet. There's a synergy, as I said, with the other time capsules that are already open. So I see this energy just bursting forth from Uluru, and like there's a connection. Even the indigenous of this country say there are 7 song lines that lead out from Uluru, but those 7 song lines, or ley lines as we call them, you know, connect up to other ley lines on the planet, to the crystalline grid on the planet, to the magnetic grid on the planet. So this is changing the frequency of our planet. It's changing the frequency of the human collective, and as each human is ready, it'll change the frequency of each human, not just energetically, but on a cellular level. So it's upgrading our cells, it's upgrading our DNA.
Awesome. Good. Cool. Yeah, see, it is exciting. It's an exciting time.
It is. I'm excited.
Yeah, exactly. Diane is asking, what about the monoliths that have sprung up? Do you know anything about the monoliths that have sprung up?
Can you be more specific, Diane?
Yeah, where are these monoliths, Diane? I don't know why I can't say that word that clearly. Monolith. Do you know where they are, Diane? Scattered around the world. I don't know. I didn't hear. That's new. We'll have to research it, Diane.
Can you be more specific, Diane?
So Diane, what do you mean that they have sprung up? Are they have recently been discovered?
Hi, yeah.
Hi.
I've seen them, that there's just pictures of this like sort of tall, almost triangular, silver, like platinum sort of monolith, and there's just photographs of them, and different people are posting them, and they're saying some are real and some are not real. And when I listen to channelers, they're you know, like I don't know if you know Blossom Goodchild, and she said that the people that she speaks to said that they're going to all sort of be activated, but they can't tell her anymore because it'll spoil the plan.
Okay.
So that's all I know. But
I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. There was a pallet of them photographed in Costco's. I think it's a joke.
Yeah. But it's interesting that, if people are talking about them, that they are showing up. Some of them, of course, must be real, but I'm sure, some are not. So we'll have to tap in and see for ourselves how they feel to us, So it's always, trust your knowing, trust your truth as well, right?
Yeah, because I feel as though when the light's released to Uluru, I feel that these monoliths are going to be to help the light travel around the world. That's my own
Yeah,
feeling.
that's
You're
beautiful.
spot on. You're spot on, Diane. As you are speaking about this, I'm tuning in and I'm actually seeing them communicating between them. So they're they're to do with the 12. There are 12 nodes. There are 12 power nodes on the planet. These are powerful places on the planet. Here in the southern hemisphere, where I am, of course, there's Table Mountain in South Africa. There's Uluru in Australia. There's Lake Titicaca and Machu Picchu in South America. And they're the three in the southern hemisphere, and then of course the ones in the northern hemisphere. There are quite a number, but in the UK, of course, you've got Glastonbury,
Yes.
which is one, and then going across the world, you've got of course there's one in Mexico. There are two in the US, by the way. There's Mount Shasta, and Mount Ida. And so they're all there's 12 power nodes on the planet that are going to form the dodecahedron that is I guess the crystalline grid is an artificial structure. It's there, it's not like the magnetic grid, which is the natural structure of the planet. It's an artificial structure that was put in place by the Palladians. And of course the dodecahedron, 12, number 12 is the base number for the universe. So we're connecting the dots at the moment, if you like. So not, as I said earlier, not all, I don't feel that all of the time capsules are open yet, the 12 at each power node. I don't feel all of them are open, but certainly Uluru is definitely the next one that is opening. Oh, I forgot the one in, they're just reminding me, the one in the southern island of New Zealand as well. They're the 4 down here in the southern hemisphere. So yeah, there's a sacred geometry being formed around the planet, and it's just not quite all come online, but when they do, we will have reached a certain level. And they've been opening up each one by one since 2012. The first one was opened in 2012 in Hawaii, of course, where Lemuria used to be. So that was the first one to come online. So
Awesome.
This is, you can see them as I'm seeing them sort of as pyramids, I guess. But we all know that pyramids are power generating structures anyway. So
yeah, awesome.
And they're all communicating with each other. So yeah, you're spot on. Thank you for that, Diane.
Yeah, thank you, Diane. And it's it's like I said, it's also about trusting your own intuition. And I'm glad you asked the question, because now we got some more information from Maya about it as well. So awesome, thank you. And the thing is, be willing to receive from the planet, but also be willing to receive, from the new time capsules, the energies flowing in, the light codes, just the gifts and blessings that are starting to come in between now, since 12/12, between now and the solstice and beyond. It doesn't just stop at the solstice, it's going to continue. But it's also about us recognizing that, yes, things are changing and that we're being supported. So these light codes, these frequencies, these time capsules that are being opened up, that's the energetic support that we require to continue to evolve and to continue to expand our consciousness.
Absolutely. Eloquent as always, Alara.
Thank you, Maya. All right. Is there anything else that you mentioned Lemuria? So is there anything else that the grandmothers of Lemuria, or the grandmothers of Mu, or the mothers of Lemuria want to share as well? Yeah, I just love it when you share your stories about them.
The star mothers you're
Yeah, the
referring
star
to?
mothers. Yeah.
The star mothers? Well, the star mothers, of course, are um, in a quantum state
Hmm.
in each of these power nodes, and that they are celebrating, of course, as each power node opens up, as each time capsule opens up and releases its energy. Our Palladian family and our galactic family, for that matter, is celebrating. There is such joy that humanity has chosen to take this path, and not to go into the way that sometimes some planets have gone. So we are being celebrated, we are being supported, we are being loved beyond anything we can imagine. And hain to re anne e kuama e shu hai ki nama nora kui aia e tuha e tera ha tina ra tuma ke aun. And they leave you with a light language blessing. We are here, we are one. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. That was wonderful. I loved it. I'm glad I asked. Ask and you shall receive, right?
Absolutely. We're in sync, Alara. We are one.
We are one. Absolutely. All right. So, take the opportunity to work with Maya to assist you and support you in moving forward with your life plan and life mission, life purpose, by checking out the package that's available at alara.at/show/Maya9. And always remember that you are supported, you are loved, and that you're not alone, and that these challenges and this change, this transition, be an allowance of it, and know that on the other side of it is like more expansion for you, right? More expansion for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is, our purpose, just to keep expanding outwards, expanding our consciousness, expanding our being, because we have for so long been taught to hide and to withdraw our energy from the world, that so much so that we absorb the energy from our environment inwards instead of radiating our energy outwards.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank
So
you.
it's time.
It is time. It's time. All right, everyone. So thank you for your comments and your feedback, and thank you, Maya, for those beautiful processes, the beautiful light language. Just it was so needed, and it's gonna, even this will support us in moving forward during this. It can be stressful time at Christmas during the holidays for some people, so it can support you as well. So be willing to receive the support from your team, from your higher self, your I am presence, from the galactic families, etc., from the planet. Be willing to receive the support from the planet as well, okay? So from Mother Gaia. And yeah, this was awesome. Thank you. So this is, wow, this is the end of the season, believe it or not, but I don't know, I might have a surprise call in the next week or the week after or something, we'll see, but another season done, yay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me on your show once again, and this opportunity to speak to your listeners. Thank you to everyone who has joined us this season for all the wonderful shows that Alara does. I just love her work. I love Alara. I love her energy. She's a dear soul sister of mine, and thank you, and deep gratitude from my heart to yours, to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for being here. If you're watching now, watching later, thank you, thank you, thank you. Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, radiant health. Sending you all much love and blessings always. Bye for now.
Bye.